exceptional work of these distinguished teachers enables the university to have a great impact in the world, one graduate at a time. When alumni reminisce about their days on campus, they most certainly will remember these professors and instructors who had a profound impact on their lives.
We're so grateful for the support of the Alumni Association in making this program possible, and the hard work of many on selection committees who are here today to see the fruits of their labor. I'm also pleased to be joined today by Regent Laura Broad, who will come forward in just a minute. You know, we talk a lot about this university as the state's only comprehensive research university, which it is, but it is also an important comprehensive teaching university. And for 50 years, the Morse-Alumni Awards have honored that teaching university. Just look as you can through your program, and you'll see the wide range of disciplines in this remarkable group of Morse Award and Graduate Professional Award winners. From 6 different schools or colleges on the Twin Cities campus, with not one but 2 winners from our national leading Morris campus, from music to medicine, from chemistry to construction and facility management, from French to classical and Near Eastern studies, and everything in between. Now, as you know, I hope, a key element of our strategic plan is not just to attract, but to retain and honor the world's best scholars, the most innovative and curious researchers, and the most creative and effective teachers. Thank you for bringing that part of our plan to life. Now, before I made a series of sometimes regrettable decisions and wound up as president of a university, I was a teacher. And I came to teaching relatively late in my graduate career. I was in my laboratory in Amundsen Hall, and Ted Davis, who many of you might remember, was the head of the Department of Chemical Engineering, and he came up to my office. Now, when the department head and your advisor comes to your office as a graduate student, this is either a very good thing or a very, very bad thing. This was a good thing. It turned out he was putting his teaching roster together, and someone who was meant to teach a section of process control was ill and was going to be unable to teach that quarter. And so he asked me if I would teach this section of undergraduate process control. Now, being who I am, I immediately asked how much it paid, and it paid more than my stipend as a researcher, and so I said, sure. What he did not ask me was whether or not I, as an undergraduate, had ever had a class in process control. I didn't feel it was all that relevant to our conversation, so I didn't bring it up. But I went on to teach that class, and I had a great time. Students seemed to suffer no permanent damage, and I enjoyed it. And so my career trajectory and ambition changed because of that quarter, from wanting to be the youngest vice president in the history of the Exxon Corporation to wanting to be a faculty member. And I have never regretted that decision. I had a great connection and enjoyable time with those students, much as all of you have the privilege of doing today, I'm sure. I've supervised about 40 PhD students and loved that experience as well. So the opportunity to be in an educational institution like this is a gift for all of us, and I'm so glad that you do what you do for those students with such great style and skill. I'll finish with a statistic. For all of the thousands, tens of thousands of great scholars and teachers who've made our classrooms, studios, and lecture halls special places of learning, only 377 Morse recipients have been named in a half century. 377. It is a rare honor. And only 132 graduate and professional award recipients, including you, have been honored since President Udall created this award 16 years ago. So you should feel comfortable in knowing that these awards represent the highest recognition by our university community of our most distinguished scholar teachers. Congratulations, and thank you for all you do for the University of Minnesota. And please welcome Regent Laura Broad.
You gave me a platform to make me a little taller, but I'm not going to use it. But Good afternoon to all of you, and on behalf of the Board of Regents, I just want to thank you for having me here today. It is such a treat and a wonderful occasion as we approach the close of spring semester to recognize the excellence of teaching. Most people can remember at least one teacher who had a particularly positive impact on their lives. And a little known fact for me is that when I was a kid, I wanted to be either a CIA agent or a professor. Thankfully, I didn't make the cut for either, and instead I'm a regent. Actually, for me, when I was here at the University of Minnesota, I had a number of professors who had made a significant positive impact on me, and I just remember a couple with Dr. John Adams. He was my advisor and a great, great man and a fantastic teacher, as well as Vice Provost, then Professor McMaster, who it's really fun to see him in a different role, as well as me being in a little bit different role as we connect yet today. So for many, the memorable teachers are those who introduce them to a subject or a field that becomes their passion. You have a unique opportunity by creating engaging classrooms, serving as advisors and mentors, and involving students in research and scholarship to help them discover those passions and sow the seeds of a lifetime appetite for learning and for teaching others. Eagerness to learn, self-motivation, analytical thinking, and creativity are all skills that will be important to drive Minnesota's economy forward in today's difficult and challenging world. Quality, high-quality education, driven by outstanding teachers and mentors like you, is an important part of developing these skills. And for those reasons, the Board of Regents continues to support and applaud the recognition of excellence and achievement for this select group of teachers who reflect the university's emphasis on the importance of high-quality undergraduate and graduate education. You are an integral component of fulfilling the university's mission and fulfilling the lives of our students. Congratulations on this outstanding achievement, and thank you for all you have done and continue to do to change not just our students' lives, but the state's lives and the lives of people across the world. Thank you. And President Kaler got to introduce somebody with an easy name. I, however, have a bit of a challenge. So I'd like to turn the podium over to Ulrika Chilner, and representing the Morse-Alumni Awards Selection Committee, and I hope I did that justice. Thank you.
She did very well, didn't she? Good afternoon, and to join me here to present the awards are President Kaler, Regent Broad, Jim Dubois, Sue Wick, and Eric Becker. Our first awardee is from Morris Campus Division of the Humanities, where she is credited with nearly doubling the number of French majors. Her innovative methods help students get over their shyness about talking out loud in French, and in her class on North African Anglophone cinema, sorry, English is not my friend today, students come to understand characters in films by assuming their identities during class debates. Sarah Buchanan was unable to join us today, so please direct your attention to the video screen for her message of thanks.
Thank all of the great teachers who guided me along the way, including Slide, who is present here today, as well as Peggy, Lucy Brown, Wendy Allen, Jerry Reed, Rudy Ketchuk, and Irene Taggart. I thank Kirana Garavazi and Jenny Nellis, who have been fantastic mentors and who nominated me. In fact, I need to thank all of my colleagues and students at Morris who make it easy to be a professor. I thank my family, which has been amazingly supportive. Finally, I'd like to thank the University of Minnesota Alumni Association and the Office of the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, who have made this award possible. Thank you.
Here to accept Sarah's award is her husband, Eric. Oh, we didn't give him instruction. I'm sorry. Just stand over there. Well, that happens if your last name starts with a B. Our next awardee is Charles Randall Fletcher. He's a distinguished teacher that has gone out of his way to prove that the university cares deeply about its students. His core courses in the Department of Psychology inspire students, including high school students, through the College in the Schools program, and he nurtures those in the honors program. He's known as being a favorite of students who have the pleasure to take his courses. Please welcome Randy Fletcher.
Thank you.
We'll put you in the middle.
I'm extremely grateful to the University of Minnesota and the Alumni Association for this amazing award. And I'd also like to thank the Department of Psychology and the University Honors Program for letting me teach some really fun and interesting and challenging courses, along with the parents who've entrusted all of us with their children's education, the students who've worked so hard to make me look good, and most of all, I'd like to thank my family for always being there and being supportive.
Peter Hilger. Time and again, students name our next award recipient as the most influential, respected, and beloved instructor in the Construction and Facilities Management program. And he's equally influential among his colleagues. One of his colleagues heaps on him the highest praise, saying, "At the heart of our program is teaching, and the bar is set high by Professor Hilger, who has dedicated his life to undergraduate education." Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Hilger.
I'll do things a little differently. Oh my, to thank you in a minute's time, I find it appropriate to do so with rhyme. So what do you think as a teacher at heart? This builder will thank you with rhythm. To start, Dr. Kaler, Regent Broad, Ms. Wick, and Scherner. Today, less a teacher and more of a learner. I have learned it is for Michelle, Jeff, and Lynn, upon whose support I count this Morse win. Or my valuable partnership, Megan, Ann, and Liz, for without them less focus on just the right quiz. Pamela, Christiana, Kim inspire my course design for writing and Moodle, oodles of time. To my industry partners, a foundation deep and wide, I have learned the many benefits of you at my side. To all CCE, Kathleen, Bob, and Mary, my dean, I wouldn't be standing here, so it seems. For 18 years you have let out the leash and enabled me, empowered me, just to teach. But the real mentors here are my wonderful students who inspire and teach me discipline and prudence. You long suffered my humor and relentless passion, to learn of my industry, architecture and construction. To Ben, to Lauren, and Mark, and Tim, as students and faculty, you supported my whims. But thanks most of all to my family far and near, to Becky, Ryan, Laura, for your support these many years. To Laura especially as she hatched this ploy. From England she came to witness my joy. My mission I've learned to think and inspire, now by my effort this Morse I acquire. So thank you all for this Morse, for now it is time I return to my course.
That was terrific. That was really well done. Congratulations.
Rashni, that's the only tough one. Jihangir? Was I close? Okay. The Department of Post-Secondary Teaching and Learning is known for the quality of its teaching, but one person in particular stands out as an exceptional teacher. Colleagues credit her with reinventing the way the College of Education and Human Development stimulates discussion and action towards teaching and engagement with students. Students credit her with changing their lives. Let's welcome Rashni.
The step stool is actually for me. I want to thank the Academy of Distinguished Teachers, the selection committee, my chair Amy Lee, and my colleagues Dan Detzner and Doug Robertson for nominating me for this award. I am truly honored and humbled to receive it. I think if you're very lucky, you find work that gives you meaning, and if you're even luckier, you get to do it with people you really like being with. And I've been fortunate on both counts. I had not planned for a life in the classroom, but when the opportunity presented itself, the students pulled me in with such intensity that I knew I had arrived at the place that I was meant to be. My students have been my best teachers, and I want to thank you, some of you are here in the audience, I see you, for sharing your intellectual curiosity, your creativity, and your vulnerability, and for buying into my belief that the classroom is a microcosm of the world. It's the great place we get to practice the ideals that we hope to enact in our lives. Even on days when things didn't go quite as planned, actually especially on those days, I think we learned a lot from each other. James Baldwin said, also know from whence you came. And I know that I didn't get to stand on this soapbox solely on my own merit. To that end, I want to acknowledge that in my 21 years at the university, I've had 2 academic homes, the General College and the Department of Post-Secondary Teaching and Learning. Together, they represent 34 Morse Award winners. I'm the 35th. These multidisciplinary master teachers are the legacy of which I feel I am a part. They have put students continually at the center of their work and have challenged me to hone not only the craft of teaching, but also the scholarship of teaching and learning. And I'm very, very proud to be part of that. Finally, I'd like to thank my husband, Professor Mike Stebleton, for being my partner in all things, and for letting me steal/borrow so many good teaching ideas and readings and so on. And to my children, Ria and Rohan, who are by far my most challenging teachers, I expect you will have a lot more to teach me. Thank you so very much for this award.
Frank Kelso. When you ask our mechanical engineering alumni who they most revere, our next honoree's name keeps coming up. Alumni from the 1990s till now will tell you that he taught them the most about what it means to be an engineer, and that his classes were the most useful they took at the university. He has also been a leader in curriculum development and bringing real-world engineering into the classroom. Let's welcome Frank Kelsel.
I do not have any poetry today, sorry. I've been a teacher for 20 years or more, but my first career was as an engineer, and I have to say one of the biggest surprises I have, and I'm sure the faculty will agree with me, is the number of hats that I get to wear. So we all wear teacher, mentor, advisor, truant officer, guidance counselor, and it's been a lot of fun, but the hardest by far is supervisor. So I wanted particularly to thank the supervisors that I've had, Uwe Kortzhagen in mechanical engineering, Paul Strykowski, Kim Stelson, and also especially Sue Mantell. They've been wonderful role models and mentors, and they've also been pretty good guidance counselors too. So thank you very much for this award.
Can you tell we're getting better at this? The next awardee is Oliver Nicholson. We have a charismatic faculty member who rebuilt the curriculum of the Department of Classical and Near Eastern Studies and founded a thriving college in the school program in Latin and Greek. He's such a magnetic teacher of Latin and related cultural history that students regularly follow him from course to course for the sheer joy of learning from a teacher who truly brings the ancient world alive. Won't you please welcome Oliver Nicholson.
In the north of England, there's something called gurning competitions, where you make funny faces, competitively. Teaching is a team sport. There are many people to whom I'm grateful for this splendid award, for which I thank you very much. First, the staff in our department. I don't know why we always have wonderful staff, but we do, and the staff in college and the schools. Second, my colleagues who restrain me from doing too many stupid things. But above all, my students. The corollary of teaching is learning. Teaching and learning go together as an activity. A class is not a congregation to be preached to. It is not an audience to be entertained. It's certainly not a set of customers to be serviced, even if only because the customer is always right. Teaching and learning are a journey taken by teacher and taught together, and I'm grateful to those who've come along with me to some very exotic places. Much have we travelled in the realms of gold. We have discovered the supreme elegance of the Latin language. Learning Latin provides a unique introduction to the phenomenon of language itself. It is a unique elementary training in practical linguistics. Besides, no language is dead whose poetry still has the power to make grown men cry salt tears. We've also learnt about the past, especially the distant past, and what it can impart in confidence to face the future. A polity ignorant of its past is like a man who has lost his memory. There is no singing school but studying monuments of its own magnificence, and therefore I have crossed the sea and come to the holy city of Byzantium. Thank you for having me.
Our next outstanding teacher is Ted Pappenfuss. He is from the Morris Campus Division of Science and Mathematics. He's an expert at inspiring even the most challenged and most challenging students in general chemistry. He brings students to American Chemical Society meetings every year and is known for his innovations in curriculum development and for his successful and rewarding mentorship of undergraduate researchers. A warm welcome for Ted Pappenfuss.
I'd like to start by thanking the University of Minnesota Alumni Association. I also think it's appropriate to acknowledge the mentors that have helped pave my path. First, Dave Volz, Foley High School, Brian Johnson, St. John's University, Kent Mann and Burl Smurl at the University of Minnesota. I'd also like to acknowledge my colleagues at the University of Minnesota Morris, especially my award nominators, Nancy Carpenter and Engen Sunger. Also like to acknowledge my current and past students. Certainly enjoyed my experiences with my students, and I think I've actually learned more from them than I've actually taught them, and I've valued those experiences along the way. I'd also like to thank my family, my wife Dana, my daughters Victoria and Mila, and also I'd like to extend my congratulations to all of today's award winners. Thank you.
Our final Morse Alumni awardee is Lee Penn. She's a chemist coming to us from the Department of Chemistry. And if that field of study is in part about reactions, her colleagues and students agree that she knows how to make them happen. One colleague commented that her energy is so infectious that even seated observers in her classroom can feel exhausted, but with a renewed sense of enthusiasm for chemistry. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Penn.
I'm really honored to receive this award. I could say many of the things that many of the previous people have said. I feel that I learn as much from my students as I hope that I teach them. In fact, actually, I'd say I learn way more than I try to teach them. So I wish to express sincere thanks to people who wrote letters in support of my nomination. Bill Tolman in particular, who's in the audience, thank you very much. My ambition is to be a leading researcher in nanoparticle growth and reactivity with a particular focus on green nanotechnology and environmental problems, and to also be an innovative and highly effective teacher. And here at the University of Minnesota, I feel like at every turn I find tools to do just those things. I feel like the barriers are as low as they can possibly be. I'm really fortunate to work in a department dedicated to excellence in teaching and research and committed to embracing and increasing diversity in the sciences. I absolutely love being a member of our chemistry department here at the University of Minnesota. I really feel that I've landed in just the right place. And finally, I feel deep gratitude for my research group, which is composed of creative and energetic students, and all of the students who have taken my classes. And lastly, I feel deep gratitude for my family, Trey and Cheryl, who are here today. I thank them for their creativity, their energy, their joy, and their love. And then, of course, the Alumni Association and all of you. So thank you very much.
At this point, I would like to invite the chair of the Graduate Professional Award section to come and present those rewards.
Thank you. It was an amazing honor to be asked to serve as chair of the Post-Baccalaureate Graduate and Professional Education Award Committee, and I'm thrilled to introduce our 2015 honorees. Our first awardee is a School of Music professor and acclaimed pianist who matches her artistry on the international concert stage with her virtuosity in guiding piano performance students. Those lucky students enjoy the rare privilege and exceptional learning experience of performing with her on stage. No wonder so many follow in her footsteps as pianists and educators at leading institutions. Please welcome Lydia Ardiru.
It is a privilege and an honor for me to be on this stage today. I wish to begin by thanking the University of Minnesota alumni and the selection committee. But I also owe a special tribute to Dr. Scott Lipscomb, my director at the School of Music, to Dr. Matthew Bribiser-Stahl, our DGS and professor of theory, and to Dr. Kelly Harness, who is our director of undergraduate studies. Without their support, I would not be standing on this stage today. And actually, I wish that I could have expressed my thanks to you by playing a Mendelssohn song without words, because that really would have told you how I feel. But unfortunately, I guess my own words will have to do. I was so privileged at the age of 12 to begin my piano studies with the celebrated concert pianist Gary Graffman, who wrote a book called I Really Should Be Practicing. Since that was his motto, you can imagine it rubbed off on me at a very early age. And one of the greatest and most special memories that I had was performing 2 Mozart 4-hand sonatas with him at a pre-mostly Mozart concert at Avery Fisher Hall in 1972. I was a teenager at that time. And to walk out to this huge audience, of course it will soon be renamed David Geffen Hall, but I always think of it as Avery Fisher Hall, and have this special opportunity to perform with my teacher was truly one of the most unbelievable experiences. I have never forgotten this, nor have I forgotten his generosity in giving me so many extra lessons to prepare for competitions. I worked with him for 12 years, and he was an unbelievable mentor and role model, as well as someone who was truly inspirational. In fact, his most recent students have been Lang Lang and Yu Zhuan, and he's 86 years old. He is still performing, mostly now in China. He is worshipped by the Chinese. And if you don't know, he had suffered an ailment of his right hand shortly after I finished my studies with him, and he had to renew his career by playing left-hand repertoire. He's an extraordinary person
and was director of the Curtis Institute for 25 years, and I owe him all my thanks and gratitude. So I thank you again. I'm so grateful for this award, and I must also add that every time my students have had a success, whether it's obtaining a position or playing an important concert, anything, I derive greater joy and more excitement than anything that I do myself. And by continuing this tradition of performing actively with my students, I feel that I can pay tribute and give my thanks back to Mr. Grappin for all of the wonderful work that he did with me. Thank you again for this honor.
Next, from the Department of Chemistry, we have a teacher who catalyzes the transformation of graduate students into seasoned students. A leader in his field, he gives his graduate students and postdocs every opportunity to expand their horizons, whether in learning to guide undergraduate students or in collaborating with prominent researchers from around the world. Please welcome Phil Ullman.
I think all the faculty who are here today probably at some point thought that the work that we do here is kind of too much for just one person. Just so much to do, right? And only that little time. And whenever I kind of feel that, I kind of reminds me that I'm not doing it alone. So, and first of all, I'm really doing it together with my life partner, Keiko. Now, there's many, many other people I should thank. First of all, just like Lee Penn, I'm enthusiastic about our chemistry department, which is really an outstanding place to be. And I want to say that the faculty in that department really want to do top research, but teaching is really appreciated in that department, and I think that's an excellent combination. And I'm very, very thankful today to actually extend that appreciation really to the Alumni Association for actually thinking that good teaching is important, so thank you for that. Now, there would be way too many other people to thank, because really, when we teach, we take advantage of a lot of resources all across campus. And again, actually, I didn't talk with Lee Penn about that, but she said that as well, and it's because we feel that way. I just want to single out just one kind of very unique to me and very, very important opportunity on campus. And that's really the services from behavioral consulting and also the mental health specialists over at Boynton Health Clinic. Really, as a director of graduate studies, who is kind of in charge of 240 graduate students, not everything is smooth sailing. Once in a while there are crises. They are an enormously good resource for crisis, and even better. And I really think that goes into the direction of the University of Minnesota being a leader. I think actually these services, in particular the mental health services at Boynton, have really helped us in the chemistry department to find ways how to avoid the crisis before they ever happen, to find ways how our graduate students can really do top research, work very, very hard, and still be happy with it. And I think as a representative of all the services that we have here at the University of Minnesota, I do want to point out that they really do an outstanding job. Thank you.
A colleague says that our next award recipient, who is a professor in the Department of Psychology, is what every university dreams of when they hire a faculty member, someone who achieves excellence in all aspects of academic life, teaching, research, and service. And it is a service that he has been providing to the University of Minnesota for nearly 5 decades, to the benefit of countless students and colleagues. Please welcome John Campbell.
been at this university for 49 years. I came to teach here in 1966 from the University of California at Berkeley. Why did I come? Minnesota was a very collegial, productive, outstanding department and university. And the more things changed, the more they stayed the same. So thank you to the Alumni Association, the Department of Psychology for nominating me, and its chair, Monica Luciano, to the College of Liberal Arts for going along with it, and for the committee to being persuaded. Thank you very, very much. I would also like to say thank you to some people who were very, very valuable for me throughout the last 40 years. 3 people from the graduate school, Vicki Field, Karen Sterry, and Myrna Smith, retired. And also to 2 people in the department who worked for me for more than 30 years each. Susan Prohl, who was coordinator of graduate admissions and graduate support, and Barbara Hamilton, who was the DGS assistant, and also our mother confessor, support, counselor, backup person, and motivational speaker. They're both retired and traveling in exotic places. One thing I'm known for in the department is the keeper of the book. I don't go over many places without it, including today. What is the book? The book is simply a chronological list of every PhD we've produced since the beginning of the department in 1917. Our centennial is in 2017. The book contains 1,000, at this date, 1,610 names. PhDs produced at Minnesota. As I said, I don't go any place without this book. It's a working copy, they're a servant. The leather-bound one's under lock and key. Every graduate student has a number. Every PhD graduate has a number. And they value it, so they're known as a number. Number 1222 is in the audience. I'm number 351. But I would like to say to all previous numbers and to all future numbers, and particularly to number 645, Godspeed. Thank you.
Our next awardee is from the Department of Applied Economics. He is renowned for the difficulty of the homework in his econometrics class. We know it's tough because we've heard from many grateful former students in that class. He is a magnet for high-ability graduate students whom he turns into first-class development economists working to eradicate poverty around the globe. Please welcome Paul Levy.
They said we had 30 seconds to say something, so I think I'm going to keep it in that boundary. First of all, I'd like to thank the University of Minnesota and the Alumni Association for this award, and for the committee who selected me. But I think I owe my greatest debt to my wife, Mary Yee, who spends a lot of evenings watching me get these lectures ready for the next class, including last night and even this morning, and also for the rest of my family, my parents and my children. Finally, I'd like to thank my colleagues, the Department of Applied Economics and elsewhere in the university, and the students I've had, several who are in the audience here today. And special thanks to Deborah Levinson, who I showed a draft of the nomination, and she said, "This is never going to win, so you better change it." So I did change it, and I think that worked out pretty well. So thanks for everyone.
Our next outstanding teacher is a nationally renowned professor from the Department of Earth Sciences who runs what sounds like the most enviable research group around. Year after year, his students and postdocs absorb his work ethic and his devotion to rock and mineral physics, then use that energy to generate excitement for one of the most collegial atmospheres anywhere on campus. Please join me in welcoming David Polstadt.
What a great university when the president of the university will hold your books. So to Donna Whitney, who's out there somewhere over there, thank you for nominating me. Donna is the chair of our department, and I really am grateful for nominating me for this award. I know that it takes an enormous amount of effort to do these nominations, and in my case in particular, I know that it required Donna's incredibly high level of creative writing skills. You're supposed to laugh at that. But I am truly honored and humbled to be part of this group of distinguished teachers. Thank you for the acknowledgement. My sincere thanks to the university and to the Alumni Association for acknowledging in this meaningful way the importance of graduate education. I have been blessed to have an exceptionally talented and determined group of graduate students and postdocs who not only found their way into my lab, but they've also deeply impacted my life. And most importantly, my enduring thanks to Sally, without whom I can assure you I would not be standing here. Sally has always and ever encouraged me, supported me, inspired me, challenged me, and best of all, loved me. Thank you.
Our next honoree from computer science and engineering is a pioneer in the emergent field of geographic information science. His textbook on spatial databases has shaped the computational thinking of an entire generation of GIS graduate students. His open online course, From GPS and Google Maps to Spatial Computing, attracted nearly 22,000 students from more than 180 countries. A warm welcome for Shashi Shekhar.
So I'd like to thank you, Professor Vipin Kumar, who's the department head, and he nominated me and prepared the nomination. Even earlier, he was a great inspiration. And one of the key decisions that I had to make around my sabbatical was the best use of that year. And there were many choices. One could go and write large grants, or one could go and spend time in research labs. And yet the choice that many of their colleagues recommended was write a book, because this is a new field and that will really make the field amenable to many others. It was a lot of effort, several 4 to 5 years of effort, taking time away from publications and so on. But I think it was a really worthwhile effort. In this journey, also the colleagues in Department of Geography and broadly use spatial as well as University Consortium on Geographic Information System. They were really inspirational and they really helped me learn the field because I had no formal education in geography or GIS when I came to University of Minnesota. But being here, you certainly learn the value of the map. If you have driven around in the city of St. Paul, or even from our own campus, if you have tried to take I-35W, you know that the entrance to north and south used to be at very different places, right? So I learned about paper maps, and Center for Transportation Studies back in '92 had a research project to create digital maps and in-car navigation devices, which looked like pipe dream back in '92. And it's a great pleasure to have research projects around that and to see that product actually come and being used widely. Also, among the alumni, Jack Dangermont, who is the founder of ESRI, the largest GIS software company, was a big influence. And most recently, massive open online courses, I was very skeptical, but a very young faculty member which joined our department 2 years ago, Brent Hecht, kept taking me to lunch and telling me that, well, in few years, we won't have our university. If you want a livelihood, you should be teaching massive open online courses. So I guess, those predictions probably are not true, but nonetheless, his enthusiasm took me to that project, and I think it was a very rewarding project. So it has been really great being at University of Minnesota. I thank the alumni, the leadership, and all the opportunities we have. Also, would like to thank my family. They have been very patient with all the travel and writing and so on. So it's a really great place to be, and certainly for GIS and mapping, there couldn't be any better place. Thank you.
There's no one better at teaching teachers than our next honoree. Her students all rave about her, especially her talent for giving them prompt and insightful feedback. She has made exceptional contributions to graduate and professional education in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction, and she has innovated extensively in the fields of dual language instruction and online learning. Please welcome Diane Teddick.
I'm so honored to receive this award. I'd like to thank the Alumni Association and the university for recognizing the important teaching and advising work that we do. I'm so grateful to Pat Avery, my mentor in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction, and Donald Liu, a professor in applied economics who nominated me for this award, and for my colleagues and students who wrote such wonderful letters to support the nomination. I'm also so grateful to my family, my husband Mike and daughter and son-in-law Emily and Neil, and my extended family in Ohio for their ongoing support and encouragement. I'm grateful to my colleagues and friends who are here to support me as well, and to be in a department that values teaching so much. Finally, and most importantly, I say muchísimas gracias, muito obrigada, miigwech, shishit. A huge and heartfelt thanks to my students who teach me so much and inspire me every day. I'm so proud to be a teacher educator. Thank you.
Our final graduate and professional award recipient is from the Department of Neurology. She helps students discover their passion across the educational continuum, from first-year preclinical medical students to postgraduate fellows in clinical neurophysiology. She is described as a remarkable teacher, a deeply reflected practitioner, a leader to other professionals, and a wonderful neurologist. Will you please welcome Ezgi Tiryaki.
Thank you so much for the privilege and honor of being here today. I would like to thank the University of Minnesota Medical School, Hennepin County Medical Center, and the VA Medical Center for giving me a home as a clinician and as a teacher. I would like to thank my mentors and teachers, most of all Dr. David Anderson, for being a role model and my sponsor. I'd like to thank my students and patients and their caregivers who teach me what is important in life every single day. And I would like to thank my family, especially my husband, Dr. Nathan Pankratz, and our 3 children for their support, love, and patience. The only thing I enjoy more than teaching is empowering learners to become teachers themselves. I hope this award will allow me to pay it forward and help support a new generation of clinician educators at the University of Minnesota Medical School. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to each of this year's recipients. Your stories are truly powerful, and your passion and commitment are an inspiration to all of us. There is no question phenomenal teachers greatly contribute to the excellence of our university. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. It's wonderful to see so many proud families, colleagues, and students of today's honorees. And I'm pleased that some of the past recipients of this award were able to join us to honor this new group of outstanding teachers as well. Finally, please stay around. There's a wonderful selection of food and refreshments, and just spend some time mingling, talking, and congratulating all of our honorees. Let's conclude this wonderful afternoon with one more round of applause for the newest members of the University of Minnesota's Academy of Distinguished Teachers.